Panharmonicon presents a podcast.
You got a song for this one?
Oh, actually, give me a second here.
Oh.
Here's a song. I wonder if you know. Do you
Is
know
it like
one?
Turbo Tigers in the Night?
One more shot.
Oh.
One more shot.
It was in Turbo?
It was in Turbo, and I couldn't believe my ears, man, because it made me.
This is because they were shifting to Turbo. They were the Turbo Tigers in the Night. It's just some Ron Wasserman stuff. What is this song?
Okay. There's hope for the world. As long as I'm alive, there's hope for the world.
When did that play?
Okay, because you said something when you came in, when we were coming in to get set up, and you were like, now I'm like, maybe we need to just like watch this again, because dude, I couldn't believe that song was playing. It's when they're on the ship. When they're on the ship and they're cruising towards the Nemesis Triangle.
Oh. Yes,
Hello,
it did
guys.
play. And hey guys. You got a little glimpse of what's going on in the back scenes here. Welcome to episode 11.
11
of Panharmonicon presents a podcast. So yeah, if you've seen the title, we are going over Turbo, the Power Rangers movie, episode 2 in our retrospectivaganza of Power Rangers, the franchise movies.
So make sure to watch make sure to listen to the first one as well. Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, that one we went over Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie from the year 1995. And today we are shifting into Turbo 2 years.
Ooh. And
dealing with the sequel, I guess you could call it, of Turbo Power Rangers movie.
Yeah. So definitely spoilers for Turbo Power Rangers movie. If it was a movie that's been on your wish list for a while, and you just haven't decided for some reason to go ahead and watch it, there will be some of that going on. We also do very much want to remind everyone listening, as we are live, share, subscribe, if you would, please. I'm not giving you an order.
Yeah, just if you like it. If you don't, hit the thumbs down.
Leave a comment. Let us know why.
Yeah, because we would like to know. We would like to know. And if you happen to listen to Spotify, we're on Spotify as well, at Panharmonicon Studios. Hoping to get to some other places that you might listen to your podcast as well.
Scooby-Doo.
So yeah, like I said, we're doing the Turbo Power Rangers movie. If you listen to the last episode, we do allude to it a lot, simply because the two movies they exist in the sphere of the mid 90s at this point. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers its popularity is definitely waning by this period of time, and they are looking to kind of spice things up to get people back interested in Power Rangers as a franchise. Mm-hmm. They thought they did that with the first movie, but then they just kind of went back into more television, and people's attentions can only be held for so long. Mm-hmm. So unfortunately, Power Rangers was starting on its way down, just like TMNT had done like about 5 years before it. So much like 5 years before when TMNT put out TMNT 2, here comes Power Rangers 2. In the case of Turbo Power Rangers movie, it takes place in between what I guess you would call season 4, which would be Zeo, and season 5, which is Turbo. So if you watched that last episode of Zeo, you would know that nothing happens nothing leads you into Turbo. You assume that they're just going to be more Power Rangers Zeo, and then all of a sudden you're greeted with Power Rangers Turbo.
Yeah.
But if you watch Turbo, then you know that a lot of stuff happened in the movie that they treat as canon, which they do not treat Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie as.
Right.
So
I remember you were talking about that some time ago, because I think we've been talking about doing a Power Rangers retrospective for a while, and I remember that being one of the things that you had mentioned, in that with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie, the way that they get the ninja powers, their ninjetti powers, is different than what you see in the show. So in a lot of ways, it's kind of seemed like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie somehow just became its own thing.
Yeah, it just exists in its own universe.
Like a parallel universe. It's like a multiverse story.
Mm-hmm. And in that multiverse, they do things like parachute and skydive and roller skate and go off on like multiple planet adventures.
Yeah.
In this one, they don't do that. They are very much Earth-based. And so you end with the CEO, you end with the Gold Ranger, Jason in this case, giving his Gold Ranger power back to Trey of Triforia. They leave, the Power Rangers fight the Machine Empire and win, and you don't know what's supposed to happen after that. But what happens after that is my Turbo Power Rangers movie. It came out much like its older brother. It came out in the summer of '97, and goes over the events of them losing their. They don't lose their Sierra powers, people.
Yeah.
They don't lose them.
You know,
they just choose not to use them anymore.
That part, there's so many things about this movie that as I was watching it and going through it again, I was like, this is so goofy. Because I think that one of the topics, and I'm excited to cover, is the script. Like the fact that there was another version that I think you had mentioned of a script in which this movie was potentially going to be like 3 hours long. It seemed like it was some kind of Lord of the Ring type epic, which that is not what you get on film. I mean, the movie's just over an hour and a half, just over 90 minutes. And I mean, I guess just jumping right into it, that's one of the things that frustrated me so much, because it came out of nowhere. They were all of a sudden, they were all standing at the same console, and they were like, okay, ready, rev it up. And they pushed a lever, and the doors opened, and Zordon was like, hey!
Yeah, I mean,
cars!
You got cars now instead of whatever you had in Zeo.
Yeah.
So now you got cars, guys, and these cars are stronger than the Zeo Zords you had.
No explanation as to why.
No, but we were making them. We decided to make them stronger for you, and we thought we'd also give you some new suits. Just really liven up the whole scenery down there. It's just so drab with all these Zeo-ness going on. You guys are probably sad because Jason left. So here's some new turbo powers for you.
And before I forget, something that came to my mind last night when I was watching it was, I don't know if you feel this way as well, but does Zordon kind of look like Charles Barkley to you in this movie?
What? Charles Barkley,
dude, he looked just like, there was this, when they first showed him, I was like, that's Charles Barkley, dude. That's Charles Barkley, a blue version of him, man. It's so strange because the way he looked in it was so different from the Zordon that we got in the previous movie. And like you said, it's more of like a spiritual successor, I guess, and like a direct sequel to that version, since it was kind of like,
I mean,
cut off
it's
from Resurrection.
David Fielding in all of them, so I don't.
Really?
Yeah.
That's just terrible.
That's terrible. That Diva Toxic, she is terrible.
She's just terrible. Oh, want to kill Larigo? That's just terrible.
Terrible. It's just terrible. Rangers, I just need y'all to go, maybe give me some McDonald's, and then after that, we can just maybe get these Turbo Zords going, and y'all can just fight that terrible lady, Diva Tox. It's just terrible.
But yeah, that was something that, I don't know how to explain it.
I
would take
don't
a
know
look.
how to explain that either. I'm
just trust me here, man.
I'm
back on.
gonna pop it back in and
Go
take
right.
a look and be like, yeah, I guess that's Charles Barkley playing.
And then the following episode, when we do the 2017 Power Rangers, you can
I'll be like, yep, he must have been here right before Space Jam.
But yeah, just the transition of power from Zeo to Turbo just didn't seem necessary. But something that was so interesting, I thought, is I didn't realize, because I haven't really watched too many things on Amazon, especially like older movies on Amazon, and I didn't realize they did trivia that were.
I gotta say, I don't know if they have this like patented or like trademarked in some way that other streaming people can't use this. All streaming needs to have this, like Amazon's X-ray, because
yes,
it is like, sure, it pulls you away from the movie at times, but it's so perfect. Like so many times I'm watching a movie and I'm thinking to myself, like, man, I know this person, but who is it?
Yeah.
And I don't want to immediately have to like Google it, but then you can just look and be like, hey, in this scene, it's these three actors, and you're like, I knew
they'll
that.
tell you all about them.
They'll tell you actors, and then they give you like trivia. And I will have something to say about the trivia because some of it I think is a little iffy. But
real quick about that, there was something that happened where I had to stop and I wrote it down, because after he introduces the cars and he says, hey, here are your Ranger keys, and there was like 5 spots, so we'll get to why one of those spots was empty at the time. But there was an X-ray that said in the original script that Larigo, that the turbo morphers were designed off of Larigo, but that for some reason that it was omitted from the final thing. And then I was like, wait a minute, I'm pretty sure I literally just heard Zordon
say it.
And he was like, yeah, he's like, this is based off of Larigo's. And I was like, so why? I was so confused.
Yeah, I don't know.
So is that kind of like what you mean by okay? I just had to throw that out.
I mean, like it's clear that the person who was writing it knew that things had been omitted, but I don't know if they actually saw the script. I don't know if you want to get that script and its differences out of the way now or want to do it later. But and what we are getting at is that there are probably more scripts that exist of this movie. But there are 2 very distinct scripts. There's the one that gives what we saw in Turbo Power Rangers movie, and then there's one that, thanks to the Blue Ranger of this movie, Blake Forster, is a different script that contains so much more, and probably its runtime would have been 3 hours if this movie had come out. It's weird because the events don't change in the movie so much as it's just a bunch of stuff is added that gets taken away. But there are some significant changes that occur, specifically in like the ship part. But for the most part, it does kind of run itself throughout the same like things.
Oh,
it's just there are a lot more things added that just get taken away.
To kind of make the story a little bit more robust and kind of round out some elements of the story.
Yeah. But
I wish people could see your face right now.
it's like it's weird because it was cut. It's clearly cut for time. Clearly somebody thought they had more time than they were going to have. I don't know who this person thought that they were going to make a 3-hour movie in 1997, but
especially a 3-hour Power Ranger movie,
that wasn't happening.
Yeah,
so it was definitely going to get cut, especially because it was like you already balked on the budget of this movie. Fox did not give you the budget that they gave you for the first movie, and it shows 100%. I don't know. Do you want to do it now, or do you want to do it after we talk a little bit more?
Well, if you want to really just like dive into just like a quick overview
of the movie itself,
so there's kind of context with that.
So
let's hit it.
Turbo Power Rangers movie is the tale of 6 soon-to-be graduating teenagers with attitude who were originally summoned about 3 years ago by a intergalactic morphological being known as Zordon and his robot partner Alpha. In this movie, they need to help a intergalactic, not morphological space wizard by the name of Larigo find his family that has been kidnapped by the evil water space witch, Divatox.
Water space witch.
I guess she's a pirate. They don't really say she's a pirate, but her theme is definitely pirate based. And she has stolen Larigo's family. I guess kidnapped. I don't know why I said stolen, like they were property. They kidnapped Larigo's family to get Larigo to unlock a being that might be morphological, named Malagor, who she wants to marry, but I don't know if she truly wants to marry him. Maybe she's never seen him. I don't know. She's very surprised upon seeing him for the first time, but she wants to marry him for his power, I guess because she knew about Rita and Lord Zed doing it. But she wants to, like, he's a very powerful being, and he is yet again another very powerful being on this planet that Zordon does not tell the Power Rangers about.
Correct.
Comes back to bite them.
Correct.
So, but I guess maybe because he's not directly near Angel Grove, Zordon doesn't think about it all that much.
Dude, you let them know about everything. You let them know about every enemy in a volcano. You let them know about every enemy that's like 6 miles under the sea. You let them know if you fought at Zordon.
I mean, you would think, but he does not tell the Power Rangers about Malagor.
I'm sorry, but could you imagine like being a police officer and there's this precinct that you are hired on at, and there have been all of these crazy like imagine like Gotham City, and they're being in Arkham, and they've had the likes of Joker, Riddler, Two-Face, and all these people come through, and like they're still in Gotham somewhere, just not in Arkham, and you just decide not to tell anybody that these people exist until one by one
they start like popping up.
Like, oh yeah, there was this dude who like kidnapped a bus full of kids and drove it off a cliff. You don't think?
I mean, he hadn't done it in a while though.
Oh yeah, I guess that is something you just forget about, right? Come on.
I'm just saying. Maybe they thought he disappeared because he hadn't done anything in a while.
Do we have to worry about that dude anymore?
Nah, man, he left. He would have been doing it on a daily basis if he was still around.
But yeah, absolutely, just another being that he neglected to tell them about.
So they need to stop this, and unfortunately, Divatox does kidnap 2 of their own former Rangers, and they are imbued with like the evil of Malagor, and you end with the Power Rangers prevailing, as they do in every episode of Power Rangers that exists ever. So if you've ever watched an episode of Power Rangers, it is a protracted 1.5-hour episode of Power Rangers.
Yeah, and this one definitely much more so, I think, than Mighty Morphin. Like if it, from like the design of the suits to even the enemy that they used, because with Ivan Ooze was net new for that versus Divatox, who actually transitions into the show, right?
Mm-hmm. And to even go more into that, Malagor, they end up using that entire suit again, just literally in the next season.
What?
Yeah.
Would we been at the Turbo Space?
Yeah.
Oh.
And he's just a different character now, but it's the exact suit.
Wow. Wow, Saban, like that.
Oh yeah, Saban was cheap as all get out, and he wasn't. I mean, that was an American-made suit. He wasn't gonna just use that one time for this movie.
Damn.
This is the same dude who like forced Toei to make a whole extra season's worth of Zoo Ranger with no real plot or anything, just so that they could use it for episodes of Power Rangers. Like, he does not even care. But so that's Turbo Power Rangers movie. Like I said, it had a script that apparently it's the script that Blake's like agent you saw and got him to like join the movie on. So it was the first script that he ever saw. And then eventually at some point it just got cut down to what it is that we see. Which is still a lot of stuff still happens in the movie.
Oh yeah.
Like it gets its like episodes worth of like events happening like every like 20 or so minutes. There was just going to be so much more that we saw, but it all would have, for the most part, it would have weaved itself throughout the the movie. There are things that are very B like line, like the stuff with Bulk and Skull and Lieutenant Stone, which helped make it more like an episode than anything else.
Keep going, man. Keep going.
Yeah. So, just to kind of go over the things that are it. Let's talk about the movie, and I'll explain differences while we're talking about the movie, because it probably helps to do that. So as we watched the movie, what were your thoughts on the fact that they decided not to use Rocky?
I thought that was stupid. Because I remember as a kid watching it, I remember being late to the movie, and because we were late, I had no idea why Justin had to take his place. So I was confused about it. I think I came in on the part where he was in the hospital bed. And then Justin had been there, was hiding under the bed, and found out that they're Power Rangers. But I just didn't understand why. And I think you might have like shed a little bit of light on that. It was like kind of what was going on behind the scenes. From my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, it was a little bit of a similar situation as some of the other actors who wanted a little bit more money. And he's just like, path to exile.
Yeah, if
just straight up swords to plowshare, the motherfucker. Just
the moral of today's story is, if you ask Heimsbahn for more money, you will be written out of a story.
You will be, because the way that he's written out of that story is so incredibly lame. In my mind, so until we did this, I had never came back. After that day, I saw it in theaters at 8 years old. I had never came back and watched the movie. So to see him do a kick against no one in his general vicinity so hard that he launches himself out of the ring, and
I don't understand, like, the physics of what he did makes so little sense that it's like there must have been a script even before this one that Blake gets, in which Rocky is just fully in it.
Yeah.
and then Steve Cardenas goes asking for money, and Saban's like, well, bye Rocky. Because the man does a spin kick in a roped like boxing ring at a corner, and he somehow spin kicks so hard that instead of even just doing like a revolution, which you would think would happen if you spun kick very hard, he launches out of the ring back first. It never continues spin. No momentum.
No, yeah, you're right.
He doesn't keep spinning. He just immediately goes back first and lands outside so hard that he breaks his back. And now he can't be a Power Ranger anymore. Because Let It Go is so important. And I think I may have asked you about this, but I know I definitely have it in my notes here. That part really doesn't make too much sense to me, because why did Justin get made into a Power Ranger when you have former Power Rangers around that could have taken the role?
Yeah.
And the fact that Jason shows back up in this movie, maybe we should have gone to Jason and made him a Power Ranger before we brought a kid in.
Yeah. And the thing is I think in this realm, because the thing is you're supposed to look at this and think of them as teenagers, but again, like, there's not one of those actors of the older Power Rangers visually look like a kid. I mean, they all just look like they're mid or like early to mid 20s type people, right? But that juxtaposition against a kid that is very clearly like 12 years old, when you like in their reality, it might have been 5 years maybe of a difference. Versus, I mean, you're probably talking about a kid who's in like 7th or 8th grade versus, I think you said they were on their way to graduating, so seniors in high school. And it's such a gap. And it's kind of crazy, actually, just how quick they are to kind of accept it. There's a little bit of, what's going on here? A little bit of hesitation, but
they just, cool, they were very cool with it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, so much so that they just let it continue happening for a whole season. But I guess, like, they just thought that there was such a dire emergency that they just needed anybody at that time. But it's like, you had Jason. Jason was even back in town You could have just called him up and said, "Hey man, like, can you be a Power Ranger real quick for us? Like I know you were just a Power Ranger, but like, can you be one again?" Billy, you're gonna tell me Billy wasn't still around to be a Power Ranger? Like, somebody could have taken that place. And then Kimberly, like Trini, someone could have taken that place to just 100%. Be like, nope, none of you guys are gonna be Power Rangers.
100%.
Let's grab this kid just because he happened to hear about our identity.
Yeah. Which means
kids, if you just know the Power Ranger's identity, you'd stand a chance at becoming a Power Ranger.
Yeah, that's simple. That's simple.
Zordon doesn't just mind wipe you. You apparently can become a Power Ranger.
But yeah, that whole the way he was written out is incredibly goofy, and it just kind of felt like, which I was kind of surprised that things just kind of continue down. At some points getting worse, and other points just kind of being that same level of goofiness. But was there something in the script that had his character going in a different direction in the original version, or?
I mean, like I said, I do feel like there must have been another script that Rocky was the Ranger throughout before Steve opened his mouth. The one that Blake has, the kids, as you know, they're all on that bus, and they're heading towards the convention center where the fight is going to take place to see Tommy, Rocky, and Adam practicing. So apparently what was supposed to actually happen were they were all going to actually be headed to the ballpark to see the baseball game that we see Lieutenant Stone, Bulk, and Skull at in that like little snippet. Apparently that was going to be a whole bigger scene. And in fact, what happens is they go to the thing, Rocky gets hurt, Rocky gets taken away, and then they still go to the baseball game.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. So their friend, who's been the Power Ranger...
So they go to visit him after the baseball game. That's when the scene with, like, Justin and takes place.
Yeah, I'm just thinking from my own perspective, if you, me, like Andrew, and three other people were Power Rangers, and like Andrew broke his back. I don't think, I've been through thick and thin with this dude. We fought intergalactic beings. I don't think that after I saw that and he was shipped off to the hospital, I was like, well, you guys ready for that Reds game?
Well, he tells them to go.
Oh, so he says,
he says it'll be okay, just go.
Okay.
Because he doesn't want to freak the kids out.
I still don't know if, okay.
And I will say, like, in the script, like, Tommy and them do have reservations about being at the game.
Okay.
But they're all trying to, like, keep up appearances for the kids. Specifically Justin, because Justin's the orphan who... he's not an orphan, but, like, he lost his mom and his dad isn't around as much.
Right.
Actually, I think he is an orphan because I think his dad, like, gives him up. But... so he's sadder than the other kids. And they really got to make sure that he's okay. So they all go to the game, and then they come back. They talk to Rocky, and Rocky says it's all cool. They get found out as Rangers, and that just happens. But the next difference after that is that when we see Tommy and Catherine go to find Larigo, you forget that Rocky and Tanya, or not Rocky, Adam and Tanya, are just left at the heck's name of the headquarters, the secret base.
Dude,
they're just kind of left there. And in the movie that we see, they're just like, okay, we'll hang here and like get eyes on what followed him. But in reality, so in the other script, what happens is they do follow it, and it's Divatox. They end up at the beach and go to like stop it and figure out what's going on there. And they find two people who are on a boat, and they get caught. And so Adam tries to stop it from happening, and even morphs. So we get two Zeomorphs.
So it wasn't just Catherine then?
No.
Okay.
but is unable to stop them from getting captured by the boat. And it turns out that was Jason and Kimberly. But because they were in gear, Adam wasn't able to tell that it was those two.
Gotcha.
So those two get action that we don't see in the movie. And it also gives a better explanation about Jason and Kimberly. They are also used much more. They have like much longer talking in scenes. And there's a part where the X-ray sort of talks about this, but it talks about it in a way that doesn't make sense to me, because it says that in the original script there were hints that Jason and Kimberly were in a relationship,
right? And
that is not there at all. It's just
that is not there in the script.
In that script, it is not there. Like, they basically spend the entire time, as they did in the movie, trying to get out. Except a bigger difference is that Bulk and Skull talk too much, and Jason like gets upset. They won't shut up.
You know what's funny? I've rewound that part like 6 times just to hear him yell. Yeah. Would you guys shut up? I'm trying to get us out of here. He got so pissed, dude.
So as upset as he got there's more of them talking, and they like there was too much Bulk and Skull in the original script.
Well, something that I had seen in that X-ray is that it had mentioned like these longing looks, and I thought I had picked up on it because it even made a comment about how at the end of the movie, after the charity event is over, the karate charity event is over, that Kimberly goes up to Jason to congratulate him specifically, but like you don't see her really much interacting with anybody else. I'm like, oh hey, Tommy and Adam.
Yeah, none of it. Just
oh my god! And you know what? To kind of boost, to add more density to your point anyway about just using Jason to replace him, he literally replaces him in the end.
Yeah, you would think that they were just going to be like, so, I mean, obviously, I guess the biggest, like, from a kayfabe, you question it. But from a behind the scenes, they wanted to hire a kid ranger who was going to continue into the series.
Okay.
So, obviously, do that instead of, like, utilizing Austin St. John, who apparently came back to do Zeo because he was going to be in Turbo, the movie. But neither here nor there. So, like I said, there's a lot of Bulk and Skull. So much so that they actually get like multiple personalities in the movie. Oh my God. So, in addition to the Hans and Franz Bulk and like the weird stuff that Skull was doing, like they were gonna do like Elvis impersonations and like Arnold stuff.
Because I was so confused, dude. When they found them and they had their hair was all like sandy, it looked like it had just all the sand had just been rubbed through their skulls. I was so confused as to why they were talking that way. And I'm like, did I miss something? At what point in this movie were they like kidnapped and tortured so much so that they needed to develop like another personality to deal with the torture? I just could not figure it out.
Well, we see him get kidnapped.
I must have looked down at my bowl of pretzels or something.
Yeah, you probably and that kind of goes also into more things that happen here. So like after the ball game, they're supposed to be going someplace to meet Lieutenant Stone, and in the movie you see them go to like it looks like a fishing like dock or something like that where they get picked up.
Is it the same dock that the Rangers go to once they?
No, it's a different
okay.
Dock. But in the extended. In the original script, what was supposed to happen is they were supposed to be going to this like international dance festival. And Lieutenant Stone gets there and he's waiting for them, but they never show up because they go to the wrong place, and that's when they get picked up. So they keep cutting back to like Lieutenant Stone at this like international dance festival where it's just a bunch of like large ladies dancing.
What do you mean large ladies dancing?
Like fat ladies. Is
that like part of the 12 Days of Christmas?
No. It did sound like it. Large ladies dancing. No, just like some fat ladies like dressed up like like in different international garbs.
Okay.
dancing around Lieutenant Stone. Who's
I was thinking. I started thinking like 7 foot tall.
No.
Okay.
No. So also and I guess they don't really say it in this movie. The Turbozords are not, and the Turbozords and the Turbo Powers are not stronger than the Zeozords or Zeo Powers. But they have to use them specifically because they are based off of Larigo's wand that gives them the ability to go through the
Nemesis Triangle.
Nemesis Triangle.
Oh.
And I guess they just continue to decide to use them instead of being like, all right, well, we're done with those now. We can switch back to the Zeo powers.
Wow. Okay. So
yeah, like their Zeo powers just would have never been able to actually like deal with them. But it doesn't make them more powerful. It just makes them different. Oh, that's weird. In my notes, I say I don't know if the movie states this, but Larigo's the creator of the Turbo Powers. So, yeah, like it's all based off of his stuff. And there's also Jason and Kimberly try to escape earlier in the movie, but get kind of like caught and are given dinner. And it's just like some slimy like rule stuff.
Oh, okay. That's an interesting punishment.
Then there is an entire mermaid scene that you have to now wonder, like, when could there be a mermaid scene in this movie?
Yeah.
So, if you recall, they get to the docks, right?
Yes.
And they're supposed to be at the docks for like a period of time before they get on the ship because the ship hasn't shown up yet. But in the movie, I think they just go right to the ship from the dock. They actually camped at the docks first.
Oh.
And it's at this point that Adam sees like a mermaid. And then like he's supposed to be on like watch or something, and he sees this mermaid, so he leaves to go like follow the mermaid. And her name is Mandika or Mandika, but she is the one that tells them that they need to like follow a guide. And there's like this whole scene. Adam gets like they're camping. Adam sees his face in the campfire. He like is following the mermaid. He falls down a hill. He finds a skeleton. Apparently the skeleton is the guide. The skeleton.
Oh, okay.
And it's not like the skeleton gets up and is like, here you go. It's like kind of like in the first movie where they like find like that graveyard of like skeletons, and they see that like.
I'm sorry, I gotta stop you though. So I'm sorry. Why would they expect if he's a skeleton? That means he's been dead for a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
So had they not?
He's the guy because like the skeleton is like pointing towards like the ghost ship.
Oh,
so
it wasn't like, hey, you waiting?
Yeah, no.
You're gonna wait, like you're gonna meet Nick.
No,
Nick
it's just like
you.
it's dead. It's just like pointing towards the ghost ship. So that's how they find the ghost ship.
Okay, all right.
Then there's this like this creature that they call the Cackadoodle. We don't see this thing.
No, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't name an enemy that.
But it's the Cackadoodle, and Elgar interacts with the Cackadoodle. Then
who does?
Elgar, the her nephew.
Oh,
David Tennant's nephew.
They don't. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The resemblance.
And then there's more to like them entering the triangle, where I guess they thought they were going to be so like the Nemesis Triangle is supposed to be like the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
Right. So to kind of like hammer in the point more, there's going to be a scene like as they're entering that like Nemesis Triangle, and there's like the grinding against the barrier. There's going to be this like scene, like I guess in CGI of like planes and ships and like all types of different vehicles that have been lost to the Bermuda Triangle going into the Nemesis Triangle to really let you know that it's their version of the Bermuda Triangle.
But I guess would you have just asked that purely I wonder if it was like a money finances standpoint, or if it was more of a they set a rule where you have to have specific devices to get through the Nemesis Triangle. So how would these planes?
It's probably budget. They're probably like, this is a cool idea, but we can't. I mean, Did you not see our CGI?
And you know, something that bothered me about that scene though, when they pulled up to the dock, is they pull up to the dock and they immediately see the ship, but they're there long enough for Justin to catch up. And for them to be like, oh, hey, either they said they're like, oh, hey, it's Rocky, or hey, who's this just pulling up? And then he jumps out of the car. So it was just kind of weird to me that, like, if he was that close behind, why did they do this, like, sort of climactic thing with it just being the four of them getting their turbo powers, leaving? If Justin was like, I don't know, in a closet, or was he in the bathroom? Like, I just don't understand why he couldn't just left. Why couldn't they have waited a second for Justin?
Because I don't think they edited the script properly to do it. So in the original, that's why I was saying that they had to wait on the ship, because the four of them got there first, and then needed to find the ship, and so that gave enough time for Justin to show up.
Gotcha. And he was like, that's more like, I didn't think I was gonna make it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So yeah, that was, I think, them just like cutting stuff out on the floor at that time. During the fight with the putropods, they actually morphed, which we don't see until like they get onto the island. So they morphed to fight the putropods.
Which, sorry again, but I don't know if I would rather had that or what I saw Tommy do to that putropod. That shit. When the last one, when he jumped up and he just starts doing a bunch of karate moves in front of their face, and he
like
goes,
books it, and
then it just runs over. I think even Tommy was surprised that it worked.
Yeah, there was like a much longer fight. They were gonna be like doing tag team moves and using like the ropes and stuff to be swinging off of stuff to do like swinging karate kicks and stuff.
Good thing Rocky wasn't there. He didn't do too well with those.
Yeah, flipped himself right off of it.
right overboard, dude, drowned.
They had the morph. The escape happens, right? So Kimberly, Bulk, and Skull are able to escape. Jason is not. Next thing we know in the movie, they just show up on the island. But in the script, the original script, Mandika the mermaid saves Kimberly.
Bulk and Skull.
Bulk and Skull got out there first, so they washed up on shore.
Okay.
But because she saves Kimberly is able to get to the island to like come upon Bulk and Skull first. So Kim, Bulk, and Skull are all together when the natives show up, and Kimberly like goes to basically to defend them, but then decides that they should all just go with the natives. Bulk and Skull do not follow that; they just run away. So they leave Kimberly alone to be
kidnapped by the natives.
And in classic Kimberly fashion, she says, "Out of the frying pan, into the fire."
She's got a quip for everything, doesn't she?
She does.
My goodness. That's a sassy mama. I love it.
Yeah, unfortunately, there is a page missing that I couldn't get. The next thing I'm able to see, it kind of jumps right into the part where there's like torpedoes show up. But torpedoes are not for the ship. For some reason, they're for the mermaid. Mandika is just around in this movie.
Whoa. So they launched torpedoes for a mermaid?
Torpedoes at a mermaid.
They've
realized that she's the one that like saved Kimberly.
Wow, dude. That's a counterattack right there.
Yeah. So that's why Adam heads out first. Because he actually heads out and saves her using the Desert Thunder.
Oh.
And then he gets to the island first and like looks up everything. When during the big fight in the volcano, where they're fighting like the Piranhatrons and stuff, they're also supposed to be fighting the natives. I don't know if you notice, like in the movie, like the natives kind of just disappear after they like
yeah.
But the natives are also going to fight them.
Oh, that would have been interesting.
I
mean, Piranhatrons, all right, I can see that, but the natives with like blow darts and like hatchets, I don't know if that stands up to a Turbo Ranger.
And then Kimberly actually helps in their fight against Malagor instead of just like kind of hanging back.
How would she?
She tosses us like a spear into his foot, and it like affects him.
Okay. And this is the thing that Divatox is like. I gotta marry this powerful creature, and he gets hit in the foot with a spear,
and he's like, "Ow!"
But he's made of lava.
He is made of lava. He's a lava man, so I don't understand. But he's also a walking, moving lava man. Maybe he congealed enough to be damaged. She also fights Divatox.
Is Divatox part frog?
Because of the tongue thing. I think it's just she's an evil witch person.
Right. And all of those have frog tongues. I forgot. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, her nephew is a like white ghouly ghost man with a big nose horrid. That's a different that's flesh colored.
Yeah, I don't like the color of his. This is gonna sound bad. This is gonna sound kind of.
I don't like the color.
I don't like the color of his skin, but it's just it's the way that it looks. It looks like I don't know how to describe it. It's just unsettling because I don't understand. I just don't get it. I don't understand. It's very. It's like the bottom of somebody's foot. But
problem also at Elgar is that he's close enough to being a human.
Uncanny Valley. I think that's the part of it. It's like it's the shape of his head alongside of it, and I can't remember what his eyebrows look like. I don't know if that's important, but
other things. Jason gets saved, and after initially he gets locked into a cage by Tanya and Catherine. So he kind of has like a fight scene with the yellow and pink Rangers. We're getting locked into a cage. It's in the cage that he gets saved by Larigo and his wife, and then he gets freed, and him and Kimberly actually start fighting off the Piranhatrons while the rest of the Rangers fight Malagor. The very ending, okay, so you know that in the credits where they show those scenes.
I didn't watch through the credits. Yeah, once.
See, that's why you didn't know about the Turbo Tigers in the Night. Oh, they play
Turbo
it.
Tigers. But how did you know there's hope for the world as long as I'm alive?
There was hope for the world as long as I'm alive.
But how narcissistic is that to?
But Turbo Tigers in the Night is just crazy. But anyway, so the end credits have scenes playing throughout them.
Okay.
Kind of boxes with scenes playing while the credits are rolling, but you don't really hear what's being said. So that actually is from the script, and it's just is them saying bye to Larigo and his wife and his child. Justin being accepted, because one of the things is at the end of the movie, Justin thinks he's supposed to give up the powers. But
is that where Rocky has to commit to that whole the power transfer has been completed for the Blue Ranger now? Okay.
So Rocky and Zordon basically kind of say, "Hey man, you were it."
Yeah.
And then there would have been an end credit scene. So,
Marvel.
So Marvel step aside.
Yeah.
Power Rangers was trying to do this back in 1987. And if you've been listening along, you could probably figure out that the end credit scene has to do with Lieutenant Stone. Because he's been a buy-through in this entire stupid movie. Where he is... So everything is, I guess, happened in a day, because he's been at this dance the entire movie, and the dance is finally wrapping up, and Bulk and Skull finally show up, and that's it.
Oh,
yeah.
So okay,
it would have been a Captain America and Spider-Man Homecoming.
Okay, that's boy. That's interesting. There's so many things though. When I was watching this movie, I was just like, why would you? Why? And it just kept happening. There was. I'm trying to remember. I'm going even just thinking back to some of the things that I saw earlier. Oh yeah. So when Catherine. Which I thought this was interesting because I thought that she morphed before she hit the water, but I'm assuming maybe did it too late to not stop herself from getting that hurt, if I understand that correctly. But her injury looked pretty gruesome. And so for Larigo to just be like, to pull a pseudo mac in me, because
that was a mini mac. Yeah.
That was a mini mac and me. Yeah, that was a mac and cheese. And then heal her instantly. I'm like, well, why? If the whole point was to bring Larigo back to Earth into the headquarters, you couldn't have taken Rocky to get healed?
Oh, like hey, can you about Rocky real quick?
Yeah, I mean, right?
I mean, technically, no.
No, okay. Why?
Well,
Because he had gotten so affected by the sun that he.
Yeah, he was affected by the sun, but like he disappears very shortly after.
What do you mean?
So Larigo,
I mean, like walks off, kind of like off. He just, yeah, I mean, I know that happens, but like you couldn't just stop by the hospital, because it's not like he had to sit there and just like, hey man, it's gonna take like an hour. Let me just do this, Catherine. Just kind of rub his hand over. It seemed like it was kind of instantaneous. I'm like, well, you can have just a stopgap. Just get there, heal Rocky, bring him back. But I guess that also, Saban at that point had.
I mean, he wrote him off. He was like done.
Just snapped his
Which is
fingers.
very weird because Rocky shows back up in the first episode of Turbo. So,
and he's also at the very end of the movie though too.
Yeah,
and like he's standing up. Like, dude, you broke your back, and the events of this movie had taken a day. Yeah, and you're standing up by the end of it.
Like no. I guess that's probably why they eventually cut it out, because they realized that it couldn't possibly take place.
What do you mean?
Throughout
what out?
The end credit scene, because it can't possibly take place throughout one day because of the mere fact that it's not like they were training for something that was going to happen the next day. So clearly it was happening like later, and they were just training for it.
Gotcha.
Just like those Turbo Tag night. But so I know you said it was trash. Here's my take. I liked it more than Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie. So why did I like it more than
I'm very curious to hear this. So curious to hear this, dude.
In my opinion, when you are making the goal of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie was to make it bigger, better, badder, right? My issue with it is that it was bigger, badder, better, and badder as in like Michael Jackson bad, not like as in like terrible.
You can't get that girl.
Watch me get that girl. But in my opinion, Turbo does that concept better. And that while both could be construed as just an extra long episode of Power Rangers, in my opinion, Turbo truly is a bigger episode, a bigger, better episode of Power Rangers. Whereas Power Rangers the movie goes out to try to be a movie, but I think it fails in that regard.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I just think that so much in it. I don't know if maybe Power Rangers just isn't. We're going to be talking about 2017.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I what I was about to say was I don't think Power Rangers can be a movie, like in the way that we look at movies today. But then I watched 2017, and that made me say no. I think Power Rangers can be a movie if done right. And my issue at hand is that Turbo and 95 are not right. Maybe they were for their time. Now that I'm saying that out loud, maybe Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie is just 100% a movie, like a product of 1995 of its time. But I don't know at the same time if I would put it alongside of things like what was coming out at the time, like Independence Day, and that was like the next year. But like
Babs.
Like,
Babs was. I only think so. The only reason I even say that is just because remember it came out the same year as Turbo. But 95 would have been. When did Mortal Kombat come out? Was Mortal Kombat also 95?
I think Mortal Kombat was 95.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was a pretty excitable kid during 95 because I got to watch Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie, then I got to watch Mortal Kombat, and I got to go see like the Mortal Kombat like stage show.
Oh, so yeah.
I was pretty like hyped. But yeah, just to me, it was a better extension of the franchise, mostly probably because it was canon than the 95 movie was.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
As a kid, I was like, I think I was maybe kind of put off because it felt like it was just another episode of the show.
Mm-hmm.
But as an adult, I think I like it more because it felt like it was an episode of the show. Kind of like when we watch stuff like the My Hero movies, where they feel like they're episodes of the show, but also just have like just that a bit more of that glitz and glam that you're like, yeah, this is why I paid a ticket for.
Yeah.
And I think Power Rangers, the movie, went to such an extreme to try to do that it just kind of went down a little bit. Also, I am a bigger fan of like the spandex than I was of the suits from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. But that being said, I did enjoy both of them. I found as an adult I did enjoy Turbo just a little bit more.
Yeah.
It wasn't that I was like, oh, this one's great and the other one's bad. But that is to also say that this movie has a lot of goofiness that came from it being an extended episode of Power Rangers that the other one doesn't have. Specifically, far less Bulk and Skull.
Yeah. But for me, that's one of the things that kind of hurts it, like looking at it as a movie, is because there's so many things just happen for the sake of them needing to happen. It's almost kind of like the movie itself, its superpower is the power of convenience, where everything is just like perfectly, like the whole transition from Zeo to Turbo was jarring to me, because there was no lead up explanation as to really like why this was happening, or that there was even turbo powers like underway or underworks. It was just kind of like, eh. And it seems like with a lot of the other power transitions that I'd seen so far in the TV show, and I could be wrong, if I'm like misremembering things, or like later seasons I didn't see or didn't understand too much, but it always seemed like there was kind of like a mythos leading into it. Like with getting the ninja power, I think Ninjor was his name, like meeting that character and introducing him. There was Zeo, I think that was sort of hyped up a little bit when they lost those abilities. And even Zeo Crystals comes back in the 2017 movie, as we'll talk about. And even like the transition from Turbo to Space, like there's this like sort of groundwork being laid of that, and then in the movie it was just kind of like, okay guys, here we're ready. And I was like, what are you ready for what? I didn't even know what was about to happen. So when that door opened, the hangar door opened, and they're like, here's our turbo powers, I was like, why though? Like where like what is the kind of like the catalyst for this? Why would these be more powerful than the previous iteration? But I think you just explained that it's technically not. I mean, it's just that they needed it to be able to burst through the Nemesis triangle.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like those pieces, and some of the other things, it like, I guess you can always in both movies be like, well, what is Bulk and Skull doing here? But I felt that even more so in this movie, because it was just like, what are they? I kind of found myself like, even the things that they were doing, I was like, this is not even funny. It's just like, but they were just there. They were just, the funny part to me was when Jason lost it.
Mm-hmm.
And yelling.
Yeah, no. Yeah, like they were, I think at that point, it was just like, we got to use them because they seem to be very, like kids like Bulk and Skull.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, they were designed to be just that, like, expendable foil that you're just like, soon as you just like hear that, you're like, oh, here's the funny guys coming up.
It was almost kind of like the Three Stooges, except for like maybe one of them was in prison, and so there's just two left.
Well, there was supposed to be that one dude in the pilot, and the pilot for the original show. There was like a leader, and then like Bulk and Skull were like
the
lackeys.
Yeah. Interesting. Oh, so and also like but this also I think reinforces your point about it being an extension of the show. There was something I kept rewinding because I was like, did I really just see that right? But when they summon the Turbozords, sorry, not the Turbozords, but basically, which I totally forgot this happened though too. So their individual vehicles then just get bigger, and then from getting bigger, they morph into the Turbo Megazord. And I thought it was so interesting because it looked like there was so much detail put into the suit for the Turbo Megazord as it came together. And then it like SpaceX rocket ships itself up to standing straight up. And then the moment it does, all the detail flashes away. And then all of a sudden it looks like it just...
a man in a suit.
Right. Yeah. I was like, what is that all about?
I mean, it still looked better than the Ninja Megazord in CGI.
Oh, that's true. 'Cause that CGI was terrible, but it was still just kind of like, I don't know. It was one of those things where, I mean, you're totally right that the CG because it wasn't CGI, it was really just practical effects, like you said, a man in a suit. But it was also just kind of strange, and it's like, dude, just don't even have the detail there then for it to just randomly for no reason at all, because it already looked like it was put together. What was the point of just giving it like a matte finish or a glossier finish, I should say, because I think the version before that was a matte before it then just like had this flash of light and became this more glossier, polished Zord. But at that point also it kind of became a little bit more clunkier, and it did ultimately just feel very much like, oh, this is like the end of an episode of Power Rangers. But again, reinforcing the extension, it being an extension of the show as opposed to its predecessor, which was this standalone thing.
Yeah, it definitely, I think it left too much on the cutting room floor, and also didn't, I feel like the edit was not great. Because there are just clearly points in time where you do have questions that I think they forgot to answer.
Yeah.
And they didn't think that they needed to answer them because their demographic were kids. So
that's very true. Like, so you wouldn't need to have a lead up into getting powers. All the kid's going to care about is it's a new suit,
new toys,
Zords, new toys to play with. There you go.
And you are 100% right that like usually whenever like that need to transfer into new powers happens, it's because something big is happening. But there is like a slight precedent of them just creating a power kind of like almost on the spot, and that would be like the creation of the White Ranger. Something that didn't require them like to need to make it as much as it was just like, well, I mean, we just feel at this point you guys aren't enough, so we're just gonna add a sixth Ranger again.
That's true, but also I kind of felt like once Tommy lost the Green Ranger powers, that it was like, man, he's been a great asset to the team. So
they were also doing it by themselves for like a chunk of time before Tommy showed up.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
And it was also that first time that like it was a combination of Zordon and the Rangers themselves making it, whereas every other time the powers just kind of existed seemingly, and they just got a hold of them.
And it was yet another example of them not informing them of something that already exists in their world.
Yeah,
you know, even outside of an enemy, like, hey, by the way, there's these other powers that, and just in case something happens, if you lose this weapon, there's another.
Or like, hey, I got, you guys got these dino suits and powers and stuff. I'm gonna get some more teenagers to go get these powers from Ninjor, so I can have more Power Rangers just around.
Just have it and then put one in like every state, dude. Like be like the Avengers and just have
the 50 state Ranger initiative.
Just go that way. But there were just these other like really interesting things that, and some of it wasn't really even, I guess, going against the grain of the story. It was just goofy shit that I was like, that's silly. Like at the very end of the movie, when there's finally the charity event, they're finally showing off everything that they've been practicing for, right? And they're like, oh, the fighters from Angel Grove High, and they're fighting in this other team. Like they just need 3 points. And it seemed like, for one, I was confused at the fact that they knocked Adam down, but they didn't say that they got a point for knocking Adam down. But then the dude who knocked Adam down gets knocked down, and then Adam gets the point.
Any of the I thought I wrote this down, but this really got me. How in the heck is one referee supposed to somehow keep up with 6 people fighting in different parts of a ring at the same time?
Yeah.
And somehow just know exactly what's happening at any given point.
It was a cluster, dude. And I was so confused at the very end because they were like, hey, they're getting these points. And you didn't see at any point that their enemy, their opponents, had actually gained an upper hand on them. So you knew who's going to win. And yet they stand there at the end of it, like waiting to see nail-bitingly who's going to win. It's like, you are.
Like you've been listening to the commentary.
Like, what are you talking about? And because even when they announced it, Jason's like, yeah. It's like, did you not think you were? It would be like going to a Bengals game, like a Bengals-Brown game. And the Bengals beat the shit out of the Browns, dude. It's like 30-0. And at the end of the game, they're sitting there like, oh man, I don't know who won this one. Like maybe the person who had more points.
But I mean, yeah, that's how that works. I don't think I've ever seen a football game where at the end the referee's standing in the middle of the field and then raises his hand to one side.
Exactly, but I've never also
the judges say
like that where they're like sitting there like, oh hey, they need these points. Maybe they're announcing how many points they're getting, and you're
so
like,
that was the announcer, but maybe like the judges were scoring different, and the announcer was just saying whatever he felt like, and the judges were
he was like totally disconnected from what actually was. Like, he has no idea how this works.
But you're like, there are times where I'm like watching the UFC and like the announcers will be like, man, I thought that other guy won. And you're like, oh, the judges must have scored him different.
Seen that. Okay, yeah, I've not. But at least in this, it was pretty.
I mean, what we saw, they clearly
obvious.
won.
Yeah.
Plus, they're the protagonists. Of course, they're going. It would be crazy for all of this to happen and them to lose.
That, dude, that would have been hilarious, though, wouldn't it? Like,
and they're all just hanging their head low while the guys in the middle with this big check.
Dude, what if? Also, why did those people they were fighting against look so much older than them?
They look like everybody looked like adults. Honestly, what you said before made the fact that they're supposed to be teenagers so much worse, because like if they're all like that, you can get away with the concept of them being teenagers because a number of them look young enough in the face. Like Karen definitely looked young enough to be like, oh, Karen could be a teenager.
Maybe. Yeah.
But like then you put a real kid in there, you're like, man, they look like they could all be like this kid's like very older.
Yeah, and they treat him that way. Like the difference between the two, like she's very kind of handsy with him. Like at one point, like
Catherine was kind of treating him like
kiss on the head,
like a straight little kid.
Yeah,
like, oh, he's a preteen here, lady.
Tommy's hands on him, massaging his shoulders and stuff. I'm like, okay. I mean, this kid is, not like sexy, like not like a sexy massage, but more just kind of like, oh, let me, like you're a kid.
You know that like they looked, but the three that they were facing, those dudes looked like some grown men.
They looked like, yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure they were just the dudes in the suits.
Honestly, I thought that they were like they looked like they worked at a factory. They look like they
been on a smoke break before they went in there and fought the
yeah, dude, probably
teenagers.
Some menthols.
Yeah, also don't know. By that time, like Austin looked like a 30-year-old man. Like, oh man, you not look like you did when you were the Red Ranger. So that was Turbo Power Rangers movie. That's part 2 of our 3-part retrospective Ganza.
We're almost there, guys.
Almost there. Next time we'll be definitely talking about the 2017 Power Rangers film. I guess, yeah, we gave our thoughts. If you haven't seen the movie, I do still say go see it. It's on Amazon Prime. You can just catch it.
For $4 now, actually, you have to rent it. It's not on there. Yeah. It wasn't like a couple months ago. It wasn't. It just changed. Yep.
It's probably on like Tubi or Pluto or something like that.
I looked. It's not.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Oh well. Okay, maybe don't if you don't want to spend $4.
But
or you could always
it's a
be
fun
on,
time. It is a fun time.
It's a fun
goofy. It's a fun
movie.
time. So go ahead and check it out.
That's so weird.
And let us know what you think
so
about it. If you do have an opportunity to give it a watch, let us know your thoughts on it. And if you want to do some digging into it and the comparison between what was maybe in the original script as well, and just let us know, whether good or bad, just
and definitely, like we said before, feel free to please like, share, subscribe.
Oh yeah.
We love doing this, but we love it even more if you guys listened and let us know that you like us doing it. So feel free to comment. Let us know what you thought about the movie. Let us know what you thought about this episode. It's episode 11. And let us know if there are any other retros that you think. We've watched a lot of movies. And we also know how to watch movies again and again and again. So whatever movie that you want us to watch, we will watch and let you know what we think about it. And what goofiness we could find out of it.
Absolutely.
So that being said, this is Damon.
And this is Farron.
And this is yet episode 11 of Panharmonicon Presents
A
podcast.
Guys.
See ya. Bye.
Panharmonicon presents a podcast.